And the psych ward says, there is no need to worry. This asylum was built to help you. And just like the straps on the stretcher that you rolled in on, we are going to keep you safe and secured. Notice the locked doors and all the cameras perched in the corners like hawks. We will be watching, but this is all for you and your well-being. You are sick, anxious, depressed, a danger to yourself. The state told us to hold you for 72 hours, but if you sign this paper, we can pretend your stay here this weekend is voluntary. Friday morning, you will be woken up by strangers in white coats and clipboards. You will be asked again and again and again about why and how you want to kill yourself. Be honest. Remember, you are only here for 3 days, so take advantage of the 5 to 10 minutes you have with the doctors. But understand, he has a list of patients as long as his pay stubs, so you won't be receiving any actual therapy sessions while you're here, but we will recommend them as treatment for after we let you out. Until then, we want you to be comfortable, so sit back, enjoy the plastic furniture and coloring books. We have old radios with no antenna, but the static is still loud enough to drown out the sound of the woman screaming in 2B. That's just Cindy. She just does that sometimes. Well, she didn't always, but she does now, and until we can find the right medication, we are going to keep helping her, just like we want to keep helping you if only you'd let us. It's Friday morning, and you haven't even tried the meds yet. You're still lying to us about holding the knife to your arm like your parents haven't already told us everything. Just be honest and let us help you. Did I mention that the state only recognizes the existence of psychiatric patients Monday through Friday? Meaning the past 48 hours you've spent here didn't even count, meaning we still have time for a breakthrough or a breakdown. This is a good thing. This means we still have time to help you. And I can see that you're getting upset, but do not walk away from me with tears streaming and knuckles buried in palms. That type of body language is aggressive, and we might have to do something about that. A sedative, maybe diazepam. Perhaps I don't think being alone is best for you right now. Maybe you should spend time with the other patients. Get to know how they got here. Listen to them when they tell you got lucky getting placed in this psych ward. We are one of the good ones, and we want you to stay here. We figure if we keep you long enough, maybe you'll eventually start to fit in, or maybe if we keep you locked up, you'll eventually start to act out, and we will be right here waiting to prescribe you something to label you with the diagnosis. We didn't cause your social anxiety. We only heightened what was already there. We just want to see you reach your full potential as a patient. We told you this asylum was built to help you. And this,
I guess you can say I'm difficult, or so I've been told, but that just sounds like it's coming from someone who doesn't know how to handle me. My apologies if you find me a bit too challenging. I mean, I'm sorry that my past PTSD from my past relationships causes me to think that you can't be good to me. You say I'm being a detective, but I just think I'm being protective. Excuse me if my tone of voice is a bit aggressive. I'm just reiterating the fact that I was never the one to mess with. I mean, I'm sorry. I let it happen again. I let past experiences with shitty-ass men dictate the way I interact with you. And I really want to trust, but it's obvious I still have some issues I need to get through. I never said that loving me was going to be easy. But if you're going to, do not excuse my assertiveness for inability to be submissive. I just know what I want, so I'm making sure you understand the mission. Listen. I know that I am no walk in the park. I am a lot to handle, and sometimes I'm overly sensitive. So some days you may feel like I'm not even fucking with you, but on those days I need you to make sure that you don't take it personal. I'm not saying I won't work with you. I'm saying that sometimes I need a little more reassurance than normal. I have crippling anxiety that I don't necessarily speak about, so I hope it doesn't bother you when I ask you to bear with me. I hope I'm not asking you for too much when I ask if you still like me, because last night while we were asleep, you let go of me a little bit too quickly. Paranoid. I know. I never said it was easy to love me, but my love is rewarding, so if you're going to, do not mistake my need to be loved out loud for insecurities. Trust me, I know that I have wife written all over me. My table is always full. So if you're going, do not mistake it for insecurities. I know that I have wife written all over me. My table is always full. So if you're going to sit down and enjoy this meal with me, I need to ensure that you're willing to learn how to love me properly. And I've never been one that was afraid to speak, so on days where I'm a bit too quiet, or it seems like I'm a bit out of it, hold me, because anxiety doesn't always tell me why she's visiting. Hold me, because anxiety doesn't always tell me why she's visiting. And tell me every time that you think I'm beautiful, because compliments from you feel more like confirmation that it's going to be a good day. I want you to love me enough to teach me how to love you. And I'm not saying teach me the basics. I'm saying teach me the love that was uniquely made for you. I was uniquely made for you. Tell me you love me. Tell me you miss me at 2 p.m. when you're busy. You know, in the middle of your day when you have a whole bunch of thoughts at the forefront of your brain. Remind me that I'm still important enough to think about in the middle of chaos. If I am your girl, then I need to feel like I am more than just a friend. No, I am not being needy. No, I am not being needy. I need you to be here with me. I never said it was easy to love me. I know we're grown, but I still like being babied. And I still want to feel like you're crushing on me even after you've had me. I never said it was easy to love me. But if you're still going to, then I need to know that you're willing to love me properly. I guess you can say
I like a man who gets up early, who seizes the day, because that means we'll have a few extra hours for us to play. I like a man who can make some decisions for me, because God knows I struggle. But there's never a decision between me and work, because we both prioritize the hustle. I'll be in Victoria's Secret, getting my underwear fixed. I'ma send you a few photos and you can take your pick, cause I'm here for that connection, where I feel confident enough to lower my guard and follow your direction, cause all you do is shower me with your love and affection, and you acknowledge I'm independent, but your protection allows me to explore my feminine. I like a man who can be raw material, cause boyfriend material is only boyfriend material, but raw material, that shit can be molded. I'll be your steel press, your empress, stealing your heart, and together we're molding into a work of art. I like a man who can be raw material. Because boyfriend material is only boyfriend material, but raw material, that shit can be molded. I'll be your steel press, your empress, stealing your heart, and together we're molding into a work of art. Be raw with your emotions. Be a man where tears are your tokens, and I'll exchange them for oceans of love and devotion. I'll be your goods and services. Emphasis on the good. Even more on the services, because what you should know is that this is an energy exchange. I like a man who supports me. He'll come to my MMA fights, my poetry nights, buys my artistic creations for over the purchase price, because you got to pay more for the things that you more than like. I like a man who supports me, like an expensive sports bra, like a head guard on during a heavy spar, strings being attacked on a guitar, that head face down feeling on a minibar. What I'm saying is, be with me through my highs and lows, especially when the attacks come from my own mental blows. I'll save you the detail though, because this is poetry, not prose. I like a man who can communicate. How sexy is a man who can communicate?
My favorite game in school was Duck, Duck, Goose. Fairly simple, but as a part of Gen Z, you know I just had to ruin it. But rather than explain every new rule, I figure it'd be easier if you just followed along. Are you ready? Duck, duck, goose. You're it. Duck, duck, goose. You're it. Duck, 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 duck. I'm hit, get down, run, play dead, duck, duck, duck. You don't get it. Nowadays, I'm having a real hard time telling the difference between school fields and cemeteries. Between hallways and shooting ranges, recess and target practice, a bunch of guppies being led to slaughter by NRA sharks in bottom feeders, but I guess that's why we call it a school. My little brother is a SEAL, 7th grade, learning to make military grade, pencil-lead ammunition, layable grenades, bulletproof backpacks, chair barricades, unsure if the first cap and gown he'll see will be at graduation or a hospital bed, not sure if he'll make it to see past 21 because babies aren't even old enough to drink yet. But they've been learning to take shots ever since the first grade, learning to tie tourniquets before their own shoelaces, fearing the day that they hear the faint hallway echoes of Pop quiz question 1. If the police can fit this massacre into their very busy schedule, how much time will pass between the first shot and the last? A, 5 minutes, B, 7 minutes, C, 10 minutes, or D, 74 minutes. 74 minutes! To save a school full of children. 3 seconds to murder Tamir Rice. Why? Are we hiring police that can't tell the difference between a phone and a gun, baton, and whip obstruction of justice and asparagus on a stain your kid because you won't do your job? It is not just a few bad apples. This fruit hangs from branches, stems from trunks all the way 6 feet deep. Injustice all the way back to the same single executive seed. It is not enough to pick them off. We must chop this motherfucker down. Pop the trunk, lift the roots, burn them up if you want. You would read to write a new police academy textbook that can answer questions like, if Johnny was picking apples during recess, how much time before he realizes that a bullet hit his chest?
Shit!
That the tree from which he picks fruit was planted in Uvalde, Texas. In a school field where children are playing. If you listen closely, you might be able to hear duck, duck, goose. Jordan.
My blicky upon the dresser, my blicky up in the trunk. Every real American loves their guns, their pole, my piece, carrying that heat, strapped up, gat tucked the glizzy in some cities, my blicky. My son and his friends hypothesize on ways to stay alive in case chemistry turns Columbine. What's more American than that? 632 mass shootings this year alone. My blicky in your classroom, or your local Tops, or a bowling alley. My son plays with this number in his mouth. 632, my blicky, if it's fourth period. On the second day of the week, and one man with 2 9s and a Mac 11 comes to manifest his destiny in your child's elementary school, how long will it take for the police to enter the building? Protocol says, pray. Protocol says little Johnny gave Jazz permission to use his blood in case she has to play dead. 632 mass shootings, 641 dead. What's more American than bombs bursting in your child's elementary school? Protocol says, one nation under my blicky up in the trunk. His license loaded and legal in 40 states. What's safe to my blicky up in your church, or your local gas station, or community playground if it's 2:30 in the afternoon? And one man unloads 48 rounds into your local ER. How long will it take before you can be seen? Protocol says, pray. Protocol says, my blicky costs less than your copay. 649 mass shootings this year alone. What's more American than the body count? Protocol says, indivisible with liberty and guns for all. My son plays with this number in his mouth. 649, my blicky. If one man with a 3,000-page manifesto can purchase 2 scats and 3 assault rifles 48 hours after his release from a 5150, how long will it take before he can turn your local bar into breaking news? My son and his friends have done the math, are counting the exits and timing the getaway, while Americans are taking shots and getting drunk or standing their ground, round after round, reloaded and dizzy. What's more American Sweet land of liberty, where blood floods the street, land where the people die. By bullets we legalize. My blicky, my gat, my scat. Your pole, my piece, stay strapped. What's more American than that?
Hey, Dad. My 5th birthday party is coming up, and this year I think I'm getting an ice cream cake. Do you like ice cream cake? Well, I'll save you a slice. Love you, Brandon. Hey, Dad. My 10th birthday party is next week, and when I woke up this morning, the first thing Mom said was, "Dang, you look just like your daddy." Maybe that's why my reflection is so unfamiliar sometimes. Anyways, I really hope you can make it to the party this year. I miss you a lot. All right, well, I'll see you at the party. Hopefully. Sincerely, Brandon. Hey, Tyrone. I just turned 16 years old today, and about a week ago, I thought about inviting you to my birthday party this year, because all the kids at school always ask, are you going to make it? And I always end up telling them that you're out of town. Now, Mama told me stop lying so much, but technically you are out of town, so I guess I wasn't really lying, because what's a little half-truth when you've only ever known half your roots? But I'm tired of sticking up for you. I'm tired of all these sleepless nights. I'm tired of coming up with excuses for your absence. I'm tired of trying to reform my self-image into something that you would consider to be beautiful. I'm tired of trying to earn the title of being called your son as if it wasn't my birthright. So you know what, Dad, or Tyrone, whoever the hell you are, I'm done. Because all I ever wanted was for you to acknowledge my existence. But despite my persistence, I haven't even met resistance, just absence. And I hate the fact that I still want you here. But I'm done being caught in this delusion. The idea that you, a mirage, could alleviate my confusion. I don't need you. I never did. This is my last letter to you, Tyrone. Goodbye. Dear Tyrone, for 25 years I cried into pillow sheets wondering why you left me. Wondering what I could have done to have earned your love, or how I pushed you so far away. Your absence, like a flame, found home in the kindling of my insecurities, and my mind became a wildfire. And as I ascended in age, my sorrow turned to rage, because I wanted to move on, but I simply couldn't turn the page. Or I didn't want to. Because somehow being angry with you still made me feel close to you. And despite our lack of history, Tyrone, I've come to learn that pain, like secrets, can only control you if you hold them within. So I've laid down these woes at the altar of Christ just so I can tell you this. I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you so I can finally be free. No longer shackled to my misery, because this situation is so much bigger than you and me. This right here is generational healing, because I'm getting married soon. And I want our first chapter together to be started off on the right page with you by my side as I marry my bride. Because Tyrone, for the first time ever, I can honestly say, I love you. And I actually mean it. So will you be there for my biggest day ever? Sincerely, your son, Brandon. Hello? Hey, Tyrone. I got something I'd like to read to you. Hey.
One, it's not that I want to be obnoxious.
I want a millennial for president. Not quite Gen Z, but at least someone under 65 with enough life left to give a shit. My president. The underprivileged child grown up under homelessness. I want a president who works for minimum wage, with a boss that thinks that a minimum raise will make them stay. I want a president who watched the house across the street burn down in a meth fire. I want a president who had to sleep in their car. Not because they weren't good to drive, but because they called it home for some time. I want the mother of three. From Flint or East Palestine that couldn't afford health care in a city with water so toxic and air so thick you could barely see a future, much less taste it. Give me the miscreant. I want the president that's used food stamps, been gay bashed, laid off, and sexually harassed, whose mother slipped through their fingers on the respirator, someone with empathy. Give me a president with no electricity and bad teeth, one who turns towards poverty and says, "Come sit with me." I want a president with bad credit, one who uses the Bible as inspiration for humble, caring action instead of manipulation, one who isn't obsessed with appearing so Christian. Give me a Buddhist, a Skid Row resident. I want a president hell-bent on the betterment of the people with an immigrant lover. Facing forced removal. For president, I want a drag queen who's had to wait in line at the DMV, the clinic, Social Security. I want a president who had to have an abortion at 16 and face the angry mob of delusional wannabe saviors on the street. I want a president who had to hold their father's hand as he gives in to alcohol or oxys. I want a president who's been in love and in heartbreak and in therapy. I want a woman for president, someone who isn't afraid to say I'm sorry and learn from it. I want a president who's lived off spare change, who's scraped and prayed until the next paycheck, and who isn't the lesser of two evils. I want a president that'll admit they smoked weed and inhaled instead of exhaling all the talking points that we want to hear. And I want a president so goddamn queer, someone with which you'd actually want to share a Bud Light beer, a lesbian, a poet, a proponent of fair legal techniques. I want a president with college loans, one that was sold the decree that all you need is a college degree for success to be guaranteed. I want a president whose brother died at the hands of police, someone who gained a sister because her mother died of cancer when she was just 3. I want a president who's randomly selected by the TSA, someone who's just as likely as you to worry about their child coming home that day from the school or the mall or the movies, or from picking up their siblings, someone who sees it's their duty to improve these stats, who finds it fucking disturbing to know that children must practice combat drills, to have the skills to stay quiet as their classrooms fill with their best friends killed beside them, and perhaps the fact that children and teens are more likely to die by guns than anything could be enough. To have the courage to bring it up and actually discuss how our amendments are affecting us. Why is any of this political? I want to know why it isn't possible to end this vicious cycle and ever be able to reconcile all of these things. So tell me, who of you would vote this way?
I was gonna try and describe you poetically, but you just a bitch in my eyes. B, belittling my feelings all the time. I should have beat your ass the moment I had the chance. T, the moment I see you, more than likely I'ma beat your ass. Blue. C, I cared enough for you that I pretended to come so you wouldn't feel embarrassed or nothing. H, oh, your ugly ass, no, I ain't letting shit go. And I put that on my bro. Bitch. Y'all excuse my language, but I've been holding that in so it began to be hard to manage. Because it's crazy how you could love someone so much that you'll set yourself on fire just to make sure they feel warm, escaping everyone else and running in their arms, not hearing the false alarms and thinking that you're safe, but the moment they get the chance, boom, you in harm up in dangerous arms. And I attempted to make lemonade with the lemons you threw, but instead I should have squeezed them in your eyes just so you could feel pain too, and though that the sky... And though that the sky is blue, I would have painted it red if you ever asked me to. I mean, that's how much I imagined that I loved you. So it's crazy that you even had the audacity to sit there and play me. You sat there and betrayed me. But it ain't all on you because shit, I too blame me. Because I'm far from crazy. I ain't gonna lie, this damn show ain't how my mama raised me. And how the fuck I let this happen when I promised to never let another bitch play me? You fucked me up. And ever since, I ain't never been the same me. But with them same tears I cried, I wouldn't dare put out your fire, and you know why. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm working on being completely healed. But that'll probably never happen until I beat your ass, if I'm being real. I'm sorry, I know y'all expected some tears out of me, some vulnerability. I'm sorry, but tonight I'm petty, cause this bitch brought the demon out of me. And though you accomplished bringing out the worst of me, it's gonna kill you when you see another bitch loving me and bless me with a ring. You stupid bitch. Yeah. I was.
Hello. When I say hello, I mean thank you. When I say thank you, I mean I adore you. And when I say I adore you, I mean I will check your horoscope. I mean, when you leave the balloons that you carry in your laughter behind on my ceiling, well, I like them better than flowers. My body is a garden rooted in gratitude. Thank you is the biggest poem I've got inside of me. Me? I am a campfire cold hearts like to sit around and roast their marshmallows in. But when I say campfire, I mean tiny furnace. Little light lady, I mean I am not the path of least resistance. But I swear I was struck by lightning, bang, boom, wow, this one time at Coachella when Jay-Z brought out Beyonce. I mean, I am flawless. Procrastinator. My heart is a messy bedroom I always distract myself from cleaning. I digress. When I say Beyonce came out, I mean fireworks went off and I cried. When I say I cried, I mean I taught the clouds how to cry for me, dig? I wouldn't say I'm sensitive. I would say I'm highly susceptible to feeling a lot. And sometimes there just ain't enough rocks, Forrest Gump. When I say my feelings are a box of chocolates, I mean I like to eat them. I also like to get high enough to look myself in the third eye, but when I say I like to get high, I mean sometimes after I shower, I thank the towel. Snap, crackle, or pop? Me, pop. I mean, I got this violent tendency to see a bubble and want to pop it, which is to say I have held love. But I popped it and locked it, then dropped it and lost it. I didn't mind. Love made me feel like I knew the answer, but when I raised my hand, I was the only one in the room. What I mean is, have you ever felt the ache of swallowing starlight? That cinnamon heartburn? What I mean is, his name is still a plate set at the table of my tongue because I learned love like, wait for it. If I called the last person you said I love you to, could they tell me they felt it? Can you feel this? I'm allergic to liars. They cause my tongue to swell and sharpen, bullet flesh tongue. I mean, my kiss tastes like a shotgun to the lips. You'll like it. It'll make you feel brave. My first crush was on Benny the Jet Rodriguez. I swear that boy ran so fast he could fly by foot. I always say I am a hummingbird. But when I say hummingbird, I mean sometimes my hands forget how to hold. Become two teacups in an earthquake. My body is a rattle of splintered bones. But when I say my body, I mean blunt guts and then some. My body miraculous. I spent an entire year sleeping on a bed of swords and was not cut once. What I mean is my lonely looks a lot like insomnia when you hold it up to the light. What I mean is if I came to you lonely as a grocery store parking lot at 5 a.m. blowing smoke rings pretending they are halos, could you believe in the magic? Not Beauty, not the Beast. I'm talking Enchanted Castle. I mean my body, Space Jam. My body has ways to tell anything else than the truth. Flight response. Hey, do you ever just sit on the end of your bed and listen to the world spin? I hear that song everywhere, but when I say that song, what I mean is time. Time is a holy catastrophe of heirloom clock faces that don't fit my wrists, dig? The only instrument I know how to play is my body. I like my body best when I am not worried about how much space it's taking up. I mean dancing.
And folks still out here worried about genders making transitions. Some of you men will be better off becoming a woman so at least we could begin to understand the bitch in you. You got parents out here kicking out their kids for their sexuality but protecting the school shooter. You got folks outside of abortion clinics holding up signs telling folks they going to hell, but I have yet to see a protest on the front line at the home of a rapist. You rather teach your daughter what she can and cannot wear, but
let me be honest, I'm in my 20s and I feel lost.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
Reality. The reality that I'm neither young or old in my 20s. Advice from you to me, I should have just let it be. I'm in my 20s and I'm lost. I used to sit on a playground and dream about driving a car, but now I have to pay for gas.
When you wish upon a star.
But this is no Disney fairy tale. Put down the guitar.
Each morning I wake to an issue with my rent. The issue being rent.
Dear Steve Harvey, ever since you told women to act like a lady and think like a man, I've been seeing more women take their own trash out. Reposting Justin Little Boy and how they don't need a man, but got they cash up in the bio asking for a handout. I mean, you say you want a man, but you ain't doing nothing to stand out. Remember, Gina still got married to Martin. Y'all rather take the Tommy and Pam route. I mean, you say you want a man, but you just want an enabler.
that's going to tell you you're right in every situation. You want a traditional man to pay your traditional rent, but you got a modern day attitude in a modern generation. It don't work like that. And half the men you talk to ain't got jobs and don't work like that. I mean, you say you want a provider, but all you got to bring to the table is baggage, and it's okay as long as it's a Birkin bag. Talking about how with the right man, you naturally gonna submit. Man, you got a reality TV show attitude. Ain't no man gonna deal with that shit. But I guess Derek Jackson told you your worth. You held on to every word when he spoke on your hurt. Every post he made, you reposted it first. I don't know what's worse, him cheating on his wife or you following him after he praised her, then he made her feel insecure. But I guess Kevin Samuels can't be taken seriously. I mean, how you want a high value man when your value is low spiritually? I mean, I guess the ace in the metaphor is a man telling you right, because that's the only time you listening. I mean, you say you want a man, but you bash men every time men are being mentioned. You be listening to Steve Harvey. Man, that man cheated on his wife with his mistress, married his mistress and has kids with his daughter, jumped from one relationship to the next with no intention. So all that relationship advice you be listening to about love, he should have given to his children. The only time you want equality is when it's beneficial to your agenda. Love, this ain't a poem, this is an intervention. She be talking about how her grandfather took care of her grandmother. Well, that's that grown man's business, and the woman that your grandmother is doesn't correlate to the woman that's being mentioned. Stop acting like you don't want hookah drinks and a good night. A nightcap with your night bag while getting hit from behind. She gonna go for brunch and mimosas, trust me, it works every time. She gonna be yelling out the window how she outside and she fuck nigga free, but she want a husband in the same line. Love, when the family feuds in real life, it ain't a game show. And if love don't cost a thing, how come you keep asking for things you can't even bring to the table? Poem. Dear Steve Harvey.
What if you get better, but that better isn't in time for me? What if you're only better for the next woman that you see? Something about taxis, lights suddenly on. Why do we only appreciate someone once they're fully gone? What if you get better and that makes me feel worse? Is that still love then if jealousy hides next to the lip balm in my purse? Because I'm disappointed you're not the person that I created in my head, and I trusted too deeply before I saw where that trust led. So I went back to God. I said, just let me see what could have been true. I don't require much. Please, just one more dream with you. And suddenly I wake up. I must have fell asleep in your car. But we haven't moved much. The road doesn't go very far. And there's caution signs everywhere. Stoplights, detours to see. And at the very end of the scenic route, there's a person. Wait, that's me. And she opens up the car door and blows a kiss to the man inside. Tells me to get the hell out of my imagination. Which to me has only lied. And I tell her, but we'll be stranded. There's no one else who will come. She says, stop being so dramatic. I promise you he's not the one. And I'm dumbfounded on a dirt road. What do you mean? What do you know? You really think your soulmate would risk letting you go? What if you get better and that better isn't the best that you could be? What if him getting better is just a deflective block you choose to see? Because none of this is for you. A hard truth to swallow. Would you still be proud of your footsteps if all your future daughters were to follow? Because if you stay with him, they won't even exist. The dream life you've been working for, of none of this will consist. And you're so stubborn and set on a rose mixed into cement. If your dream man were to hurt you, don't you think he'd at least repent? And then she gets into a car that I'm too anxious to drive. When do you grow out of being the person that you became just to survive? And she starts driving so fast, I feel nauseated by the speed. The roof of the car folds down a day with me, that's what you need. And her hair flows so freely, her smile brightens the sky. This is who you could be if you let yourself say goodbye. But I try to turn back. She turns at the corner. We pass a sobbing version. Well, I try to warn her. And the laugh she unleashes is so free of worry. I'll go back for her eventually, but some lessons even I can't hurry. And then, in a second, without knowing when or how, she parks, throws me the keys. This is your life. Now. Because what if you got better? And the time was right for me. What if you were loved for more than just the woman you've settled to be? What if you...
You're so quiet. It's the quietest times where I feel the loudest. Sitting silent in the corner, moments that aren't my proudest. I try to turn my thoughts into words instead, but the closest I get is mutters under my breath. I I guess that's why people opt to leave me alone, leaving me with more thoughts on why I should go home. I fear letting people into my reality, which is why I'm labeled as pretty with no personality. On the contrary, I'm as interesting as I am seemingly boring, but I'd rather be discovered than spill my life story. It's the fear that keeps me from saying too much. The more quiet I am, the less there is to judge. Maybe I play it too safe. I don't take risks too often, too quick to blame other people. I forget I am the problem. I would say thank you for listening to me air myself out, but you didn't hear me. How could you? I never said any of this out loud.
I went to McDonald's at 6 in the morning and had large coffees with the truckers and the sunrisers and the old timers who read the newspaper together and who always say goodbye even if they don't know each other, even to me. And 2 construction workers start to talk to each other, even though they are at different tables and they are sitting across from each other in the dining area, and they have never met before and everybody can hear them. One is older and one is younger, and they talk about fishing spots and company names and what their dads used to do. Eventually that talk turns into talk about their favorite towns and their daughters and their wives, and how one of the man's wives died when he was 34. They talk about money and medical bills, and the other man doesn't say I'm sorry. He just asks for her name. And the old man says it cleanly because it never gathered any dust. And the 2 men don't know each other's names, but they know their wives' names. And one says, thank you for your service. And the other says, my friends were in Vietnam, but I mostly just stood there. And sometimes things are longer than they should be, and sometimes they are shorter than a good dream. And they didn't say goodbye or shake hands, they just said, nice talking to you. And all McDonald's coffee sizes are the same price, so you might as well get a large. I went to McDonald's at 6 in the morning.
I'ma tell you this for your own benefit. Your shit was dope as hell, especially when you wrote 90% of it. What you need to do is practice on your freestyles, before you come up missing like Snoop Dogg's police files. This type of literature that I'm spitting be hitting. You gonna swear to God this shit was written, but it wasn't. I kill a dozen rappers when I'm buzzing, guzzling, beat your ass like a jealous husband. Now your boys are about to suffer a team loss when you go in the coma longer than Vladimir Constantine. Cut the damn machine off. Get a clean cloth to wipe this bloody video screen off. I'ma tell
you gotta spit something. Alright, have it. You know how we get down. It's on you, my baby.
Alright. Hey yo. I got a beautiful wife, kids, and a gorgeous home. What would make me jump in the tub with a cordless phone? I'm straight vicious. I hit you with plates and dishes, leave you with 8 stitches. When I'm gay cause I hate bitches? Slut, don't be nice to me. I've had it with girls, and I'll still be mad at the world, even if it apologized to me. You're hearing the last thoughts of a man about to blow his fucking brains out and fall back on a blood-stained blouse on top of his spouse, spread out on a blood-stained couch in front of his kids that he just killed in the same house. I'm sickening Boy George, picturing Michael Jackson in a little boy's drawers shopping at toy stores. If Shady said it, Shady meant it. I stayed a minute. I'll throw a stroller at you with a baby in it. Go ahead, pull the plug. Think I won't slap you. I just dropped the fucking pill, Mom. Don't vacuum.
You gotta spit something. Alright, have it.